Whew. What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Wow. You know, I can't believe Hump Day is in the books. Tomorrow is Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants. The New York Giants are hurting. They've got 4 offensive linemen that are injured and not even traveling. They got 2 other ones that are questionable. Yeah. We, on the other hand, we've got 1 in 4 of our defensive players are injured or sick. We got some kind of illness that's going around. Don't know if it's like, you know, the stomach virus, a flu, COVID, whatever, but we got a bunch of guys that are questionable because they are sick. You got to watch some bad wings, and listen, do not eat sushi from a gas station. I'm just going to tell you, don't eat sushi from a gas station. And you got to be careful that, you know, you got to always wash your hands, you know, at least 30 seconds with hot water and soap and everything else. You got to make sure that if you use your cutting board, you know, with chicken and stuff on there, that you bleach that sucker down and you clean it real good. You don't cross-contaminate stuff because you don't want to get somebody sick. Trust me. And have that bleach cloth ready to wipe everything down. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you take care of keeping people sick. We can't afford to have Cowboy players missing games because of illness. It's bad enough that they're missing games because they're injured. Now, we got Micah Parsons, who is, you know, of course, questionable because he's nicked up. Of course, you know, he's got, when you are a wrecking ball, when you are a raging bull, you are hitting everything. You're going to be battered and bruised up every single week. It just is what it is. Most NFL players are, from the time training camp starts. That's when you're going to be the healthiest. And it's not so much who's the strongest at the end. It's really who is hurt the least in the end. And that's why sometimes you end up seeing guys that come in that haven't played. You see a team at the end of the year that's been injured so bad, and all of a sudden they're playing well. It's not that they have great backups per se. It's that the backups are fresh going against guys that are nicked up. There's a lot to that. And there's a lot to that when you start looking and saying the Cowboys have a lot of depth on the defensive line that they can rotate in and out and so on. Just if we had that depth with wide receiver would be great. So we've got that. Now, the thing about tomorrow is this could be a launching point. You got the great feeling. We played everybody in the NFC North, okay? We've gotten, you know, we're 3-1. Not bad against another division. We should have been 4-0, but we're 3-1 against the NFC North. Now, we got to go back home and take care of business, where I believe Dak Prescott is 26-6 in the division. We're playing against the Giants, and I don't believe the Giants have beaten Dak Prescott-led Dallas Cowboys since 2016, where they did it twice, his rookie year. I hope that that continues, that we end up getting another sweep. However, for the Dallas Cowboys, we have not been good. The last 5 years on Thanksgiving, we find ways to win. And I tell you what, I remember last year, it wasn't just so much that the team let us down. We ended up having those crazy-ass calls that went against us. Here it is. Derek Carr is running, diving head first, and Micah Parsons slows up and tags him and touched his hand on the guy's helmet, and they called him for unnecessary roughness. He gets a run at first down and 15 yards. When you get calls like that, come on, when you get calls like that, it hurts you. And Philly 500, I don't want to hear about you saying stop whining about the refs, because you whine about the refs too, bro. You know, don't make me pull out the tapes. Regardless, the Cowboys, if they can get a win here, this is huge. Make no mistake about it. A division win separates you from the Giants, because now you own the tiebreaker with them. You get a step closer, or keeping pace with the Eagles. you take a step forward and putting pressure on others that at worst case, you end up being the 5th seed. You don't want to drop down too much lower than that. I just don't think you do. And you still have a chance, if the Eagles stumble, to maybe catch them. If they lose another game between now and Christmas, that's huge. And you see the Cowboys have actually been playing much better. I know the Green Bay game's a loss, but guess what? Everybody loses games. There's no undefeated teams. You're going to have a couple of games where shit doesn't go your way. But if they can get this win, and then we don't play again until December 4th, that means we have 10 days for guys like Micah Parsons to heal up. We have a chance to go ahead and open up the practice windows for guys like James Washington. We have time to sign Odell Beckham Jr. We have more chance now to maybe even get that window open for Tyron Smith. They've already started experimenting there by putting in Jason Peters for 20 plays and Tyler Smith at guard. And you can start saying, okay, you get this win. You get this win. You get to 8 wins. Now, it's really focusing in on getting ready to play for playoffs. Trying to get everybody healthy, trying to get everybody the reps in, trying to get these young guys up to speed, and letting the veterans not put extra wear and tear on their body. So, there's that. Now, the last time we played the Giants, there was another YouTuber out there who wanted me to go, of course, do some things with them, okay? And doing the stuff with Pizzle, the way we were, at each other's throat and everything else, is not what I really am about, okay? I was up at 5 o'clock this morning picking up my niece and my nephew. Before I left, I'm in the workshop turning on the Inventables. That thing is going. It's going to be running through the night. I enjoy giving things away. I enjoy trying to make other people happy. I enjoy trying to make a difference and be a role model for other people. I like to take, shout out to Jay Tuck, who was talking about the OGs. And now here's what I find funny about being called the OG is original gangster or old guy. It's a nice way of saying you're old as dirt, old man. But he was basically saying that, guys like Shango and Law and me kind of paved the way for others. And I enjoy helping others and trying to make the world a better place. And taking what I've learned, the mistakes that I've made, trying to help others to not make the same mistakes that I have. And that's what my brand is about. And so I didn't want to get in the down and dirty stuff because there's so much ugliness in the world right now. There's so much ugliness that literally, if you do not agree with me, then you are the enemy and I must destroy you. And that's not what I want. I'm tired of this. In my state of Virginia, this week, it's unbelievable that a football player would go and kill his teammates. Because when you start talking about the locker room, you're talking about going to war, and maybe that's not the right term, but going into a game with these guys. There's a brotherhood that's there in that locker room. And for that to turn into, I'm going to kill my teammates, I just don't understand how that happens. It's tragic. And before we can even get beyond that, and let me say, shout out to the Commanders for wearing the team's numbers. They're going to have their numbers on the helmets. UVA has canceled their last game of the season. Before that has moved on to anything else, here it is this morning in Chesapeake, Virginia. The manager loses it and kills 5 of his coworkers. It's just crazy. And we've gotten so desensitized to it that it's no big deal. It'll be forgotten in another day or two or when the next one happens. And it's crazy because it doesn't matter where you are. This happens. You can be at a gay club. You can be at church. You can be at a movie theater. You can be at school. You can be at the Navy Yard. You can be at Walmart. You can be in college on a campus. I don't understand the world now. And I don't want to be a guy who's putting gasoline on the fire. That's just not me. It's just not. I'm not going to condemn others for their ways, but I'm going to do things my way. And then today, there's something that Jerry addressed, I think 12 years or so ago. I am the original gangster here. I'm 57 years old. A lot of my audience here, you're all about my age. The reason why I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan who's not from Dallas, it's not the whole thing of you're a bandwagon fan, that you just followed the Cowboys because they were winning. No, that wasn't it. See, I was born in 1965. I wanted to be like my father. And my father, and I want you to understand, when I was born in 1965, schools were just beginning to integrate. In the state of Virginia, a black man and a white, or a black, well, you couldn't have interracial marriage. It could have been male, female, whatever. Okay? You couldn't marry. The reason why Virginia is for lovers is because of the love couple that ended up getting the laws changed on that. In 1970, when I went to elementary school, first class that integrated in my elementary school. So I'm that old. In Little Rock, Arkansas, when the courts ordered desegregation, the students, the white students, did not want those 5 black students at school. And so they protested. And it's easy to be part of the mob or be standing around to see what's going on. And there's pictures of Jerry Jones in the crowd. He's not up front and center, screaming, yelling, and shouting with a cigarette in his mouth and stuff. He's in the crowd. A 14 or 15-year-old kid. I have no idea what was in Jerry Jones's thoughts, minds, or whatever. But I know the world was a different place back then. And you learn in life. There's stupid things that we've all done in our past that we look back and say, how was I so stupid? And you change. And I will say, I'm going to tell straight fact of myself, because I've been in that same situation. And for all those out there that are condemning Jerry Jones, okay, now I don't know. Jerry Jones, I've met him, I've talked to him. You know, he don't know me from Adam. He was just as nice as he could be to me. You know, I'm not going to say he is or isn't a racist. I don't know. But from what I see and the people he has around him, it seems like maybe back then he was that way. But you evolve. Because I remember being in high school, we had these 2 guys that were twins that were punk rockers. And man, we used to say, you guys are a bunch of, effets. Not faggots, or, we would make fun of people that were gay. I used to be, fearful of people that were gay. Oh my God, and yeah, I was a homophobic. Okay, I'm admitting that. I didn't know anybody gay, and of course, being a football player and everything else, and macho and this, that, and the other. But I got to know Damien, who worked with my wife. Damien taught me a lot. And the funniest thing that was with Damien is because, we would always say, oh my God, that person's gay. They're going to be trying to hit all over me. Damien was like, dude, don't flatter yourself thinking that somebody gay wants you. He's right. Do you think a gay person wants a person who's bigoted against him and hates him? No. No. But Damien became a good friend. And unfortunately, Damien, at about the age of 35, had Hopkins lymphoma, Hopkins non-lymphoma. Okay, I can't remember exactly, but it was cancer. He was at Johns Hopkins University Hospital, where they basically were trying to help prolong his life. They ended up doing this, this complete blood transfusion where they literally took the chemotherapy, and I remember going through and seeing like the IV looked like it was glowing. They literally stripped all of everything out of his body, the DNA. His DNA changed with this. It was experimental treatment, and it prolonged his life for maybe 8 or 9 months or so, but he ended up passing. The person I used to be would have been sprayed to death to be talking to somebody who was gay. Person I am now knows better. It's not a big deal. You choose to love whoever you love. If they're not doing anything to hurt me, why do I worry about somebody who's not doing anything that's actually hurting me? So to condemn Jerry Jones at 80 for something he did 65 years ago, I don't know. What you do is you judge somebody from not the mistakes they made, but what they've done since then. And I tell you, one of the coolest things was, I love to drive. We had to, in 2012, there was a Live United Play 60 billboard campaign with all 32 of the NFL teams. And we had to go to every single NFL market and do a photo shoot. Most of them we drove to. And we did this in like different legs. Like the first one was we left and went to stop in Carolina to Jacksonville to Tampa to Miami and then back home. And we did that in like 3 days. Then the next one was I drove to New England. I drove back, but the photographer flew out to Seattle and met my wife out there for that photo shoot. I didn't go to that one. But then we ended up going from Virginia to Atlanta, did a drive-by in Dallas, had lunch with some friends on our way to Houston, on to Arizona, did a drive-by in the Grand Canyon on our way to San Francisco, caught a plane to Denver, did the photo shoot in Denver, flew back to San Francisco, did that one, drove to Oxnard, got the Cowboys, went to LA, flew back home, and then we went on that Monday. That was on Friday. On Monday, we drove and hit Pittsburgh, hit Cleveland, Cincinnati, stopped off in West Virginia because at the Greenbrier, the Saints came there. On our way to Tennessee, we went to Tennessee, to Indianapolis, to St. Louis, to Chicago, then to New York. Richmond for Washington. Sorry. Baltimore. Oh, my phone's about to die. To Baltimore. I tell you what, I'm going to stop it here and then restart. All right, hit Baltimore to Richmond. Okay. Then caught a flight to Green Bay and then drove to Minneapolis. Came back home and we drove to Buffalo. Damien was cremated and they gave a bunch of little pouches of his ashes. Damien went all around the country with us. And on the way back, on the last leg, coming back from Buffalo, there's a place on the Great Lakes called Sunset Beach. And that, my friends, is where we dropped off his ashes, because Damien was a wandering soul. And we knew his ashes would go from the Great Lake over Niagara Falls and out into the Atlantic Ocean. And that was one of the greatest things that I've ever done in my life. So, there you go. That's all I have to say about Jerry Jones and what he did back then in 1958. Friends, life is too short to worry about things that you can't change. Tell the people you love them, because you might not get the chance again. Oops. And I love you guys. And God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.